but we need to, we unfortunately didn't record any of our jokes. I need something funny to open on. That gets people watching through the intro. See, starting out with the intro, I don't know if that's
yeah, we never really done that before.
Yeah.
I want to say
start out with a joke.
So one of the reasons why.
One?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, go ahead. Whenever you're ready.
Wait, what? I
just keep stepping on it.
Yeah, that's fine. Just ruin the organic nature of what it is, a podcast. Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, come on.
Go ahead.
Yeah, come on.
Are you ready?
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, come on. Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
There, Eric.
Come on.
That's your opening.
Let's go.
You're welcome.
Proximity alert. Vessel approaching. The vessel is hailing.
Space.
Warning. Warp core collapse in 10 seconds.
Welcome to Left Track, your leftist Star Trek podcast. Don't ruin my post-theme song intro, Zots. I can't believe you would step on my lines like this. What the heck?
Go fuck yourself. Wait, are you ready?
Yeah. Welcome to Left Track, your leftist Star Trek podcast. I'm Eric. I've recently undergone a medical procedure where a probe from an alien spaceship shocks all the nerves in my arms, legs, spine, and right upper butt cheek in order to, I don't know, see if I'm gay or not. I don't remember what the lab was for. And I'm joined, of course.
Science could do anything these days.
They found the gay gene. Finally, it's not a gene at all. It's an electrical impulse that makes you gay. Victim of the gay gene number one, Zots.
Hey everyone, I'm Zots. Glad to be here. I'm running a trend. Usually I'm like absent at least between 2 episodes. But yeah, I'm Zots.
You've been great. You've been great recently.
I'm tumbling in an elevator just forever and ever.
And another, as always. Well, actually, not the previous episode. Our best performing episode thus far, where Brian was suspiciously absent. Brian,
you're welcome.
Welcome back.
You're welcome. I wasn't here. That's why I did so well. I actually am the Dauphin.
Okay. Yeah. And special guest for the first time. It's been a long time since we had a guest for the first time. I think the last one was Thought Slime. But for the first time, Tristan of Step Back History. Hey!
Hey! That's me. I'm that.
Welcome to the show, Tristan.
And I'm also written by the guy who wrote Howard the Duck.
Oh.
Shit, is this episode really written by the guy that did Howard the Duck?
Yeah, you can't tell, but yeah.
That's so amazing. Fucking awesome.
Howard the Duck was way better.
Pardon me, Zots. No, go ahead, Zots. Go ahead.
Unrelated, Brian. Should we watch Howard the Duck for Edgelord movie night?
Yeah, we probably should watch Howard the Duck for Edgelord movie night. That makes a lot of sense.
I've never seen Howard the Duck. Is that a Edgelord movie night appropriate movie? Oh, whatever. Everything is.
It's in there. I think it fits.
That's fair enough. So the format of the show roughly is that I'll undergo a very inaccurate recitation of the events of the episode, and we'll talk about it later. And everyone can feel free to jump in wherever they want for any commentary or bits. I promise I won't step on them. I don't actually like stepping on bits. Only with Zots. Only for comedy.
God damn it! Please don't let that be a real thing.
But first, Tristan, tell me about your history with Star Trek. Tell me about your familiarity. How often do you rewatch it? How do you get into it, etc.
My familiarity. How did I get into Star Trek? Well, I'll tell you. The first time I probably watched this episode of TNG was when I was about 4 months old, and my dad was watching it. My dad is a level 16 Trekkie. Like, he watched TOS when he was a kid in the 60s.
Nice.
And has basically never missed an episode since. And he sort of rubbed that off on me. So I would call myself a unhealthy Trekkie, to the point where I was talking about how much I liked Star Trek Nemesis in grade 9. Very cool person.
Oh my god!
I read the novelization of Star Trek Nemesis in grade 9.
Oh my goodness!
Hell yeah!
Now that's advanced.
I was on a road trip with my dad where we listened to the book on tape of IQ, which is the first-person Q novel that was actually read by John Delancey.
That's sick. I didn't know that even existed. That's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't know about that at all.
Was it good?
I don't remember. It was 20 years ago. I've actually been to Star Trek: The Experience in Las Vegas before they shut it down.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh,
I've heard legends of such a thing, but I never had a chance to go, even though I don't live that far away from Vegas, unfortunately.
I also met Garrett Wang and Nana Visitor on some occasions. Paid for the privilege, but it was a convention thing. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never actually seen any Star Trek people at conventions. That's unusual. Well, I guess I only really go to anime conventions when I was a kid, so never mind.
It's a little different. Crowd.
Yeah.
Well,
so I would say I like Star Trek a little bit. Yeah.
So when is the last time you how much did you remember this episode going into it? When's the last time you saw this, if you recall?
My wife and I watched through. We did I introduced my wife to Deep Space Nine because it's not only the best Star Trek, but it's one of the best shows.
Great Zots is our rube here. Zots is unfamiliar with Star Trek. Yeah, Zots is exasperated because we talk about Deep Space Nine all the time.
Oh yeah. So we did that, but then my wife got so into it because we were stuck inside because a coronavirus variant had made the entire world shut down for several years. I don't know if you heard about this, but
have you heard about this? It's called the Contagion.
Yeah. So we decided to watch. So one day, we're watching Deep Space and we're having fun. And then she comes in with a piece of paper and it's like a list of all of the Trek shows, and she's like, "Is this the order they happen in the world?" And I'm like, "Yes." And then she's like, "All right, so we watch it this way." And so I'm like, "Okay, you do know that the '60s show is very '60s, and the show you're starting off with, Enterprise, is bad." But we went to I think there's a website that actually takes all of the Star Trek episodes, or at least a lot of them. I think they're not done with Voyager or something, and basically rates them 1 to 5, basically whether or not they're watchable or not. Mm-hmm. And even if they are bad, if they're important for continuity, they point that out. And this episode is an episode that was firmly 2 out of 5 stars, but was recommended to watch because of continuity. Because this is a huge, I think we talked about this just before the show. Contagion is an episode that probably has the most lore built in the world with the most mid-episode. This is the episode where Picard establishes that he likes archaeology. It's where he says tea Earl Grey hot for the first time. And it establishes...
gets a plant.
Yeah. And he gets a plant. It's great. Wonderful moment. Favorite, great joke. And then also... Wesley gets flummoxed by the idea of transporters in a world where transporters exist, and also Iconians, which Iconians have been spun out they're a huge part of Star Trek Online, I've been told. And there's a Deep Space Nine episode about Iconian gateways and stuff. So
yes, great episode, good episode.
Yeah, they're a big. It's a big part of the lore. Yet this episode is super mid. And features a part where they have to navigate a series of Windows 95 screensavers and stuff, and it's just it's fascinating. It's fascinating. But when we were watching through it back in 2020, 2021 or something like that, when we finally went through TNG, we watched this one, And I remember it being, it's your typical show that I probably watched it a dozen times, like on what was that, Spike TV? Spike TV's endless TNG marathons.
Oh,
and it's just one of those ones that I probably fell asleep in or something, because this is one of those. TNG is the only Star Trek show that I know that kind of gets boring in a few episodes, and this is one of those.
Oh yeah, yeah. This one. So we're approaching this from the experience of. Well, I rewatch TNG somewhat regularly, although I've been staying away from the early seasons, both because they're bad and also because I want to stay fresh for the podcast. We were rapidly approaching. Well, I should say rapidly, but we were approaching at some point season 2, which we're now in the midst of, and so up to this point. Most of the episodes have been awful, just awful, just unwatchable, unredeemable, offensive in many aspects.
Oh yeah, the one where Tasha Yar. Oh man, that one's like legendarily bad.
Here's a factoid that Jesse Gender informed us about Code of Honor, is that that episode was not written to have in mind for all the aliens to be black people. Like, this wasn't like supposed to be just like a planet of black people. A rogue racist casting director was like,
boy.
oh yeah, let's just cast all blacks for this one.
And that man turned out to be Richard Berman.
Ba ba ba. And that just so much flavor to that episode. Watching it and knowing that detail about it.
Oh gosh, yeah. It's first couple seasons of the pre-beard as the pre-beard era is. It's awkward. It's kind of as awkward as like Deep Space Nine's like sort of trying to be TNG and failing seasons, which is like before Sisko shaves his head, basically.
Yeah, so, I'm a early TNG defender. I mean, sorry, Deep Space Nine defender, because there are a lot of early episodes that I just love, like Tusk, and the one where
Tusk is good. The one where they get sucked into a real life board game, though. I mean. Anyways, we're talking about Contagion.
We're not talking about Deep Space Nine.
I would love, every time we have like a fucking, I should say it is every time, because I think every guest except for the original Mark or Rube that you had on, I forgot his name. The one that Elliot, yeah. Except for Elliot, every other person that comes on here as a guest always ends up in a huge discussion about Deep Space Nine, and I have no clue what anyone is fucking talking about. So
that's why we love it.
Every time, because it is the best Star Trek. It's the best TV show, and it's not the best Star Trek show. It is the best television program.
I'm glad that I'm trudging in the muck of TNG.
One day you will climb out of the hole in the ground that we're making you wallow in.
One day,
and you'll reach Deep Space Nine, and you'll be like,
"Now we'll get to Deep Space Nine, and you'll love it. I swear."
When my kids in high school, and once again, that's the yoke. Just fucking hell.
But you do Alan Moraine, and you'll remember like, oh, this is the one where they get sucked into the stupid fucking board game.
Yes, Zach, please remember Alan Moraine, count to 4, Alan Moraine, and then 3 more. Okay, do you have this? Do you got it?
By the way, this ridiculous concept is the second episode of Deep Space Nine. This is the one they were like, all right, this is the strong start we got here. We're going to establish this whole world, this political intrigue, this tension, characters that have, arcs and lessons and stuff that it's going to go on for almost a decade. Now, Jumanji.
Yep. We got a Jumanji.
Did they steal Jumanji from that episode? I don't know what the timeline works out there, but I'm just going to assume yes, they stole it from the.
It's been 1993, so the timing is close. But this is another part that I want to mention too, is that if I remember correctly, I don't think it was that this episode also sticks out interesting cultural wise, because the big bad, spoiler alert, is a computer virus. And the 1980s was when computer viruses were starting to become a thing that people were aware of. So it was like trying to be topical Like I think 1988 was like the year computer virus got added to the dictionary or something. So and this came out in like March of '89. So yeah,
a topical episode. My God, finally.
Yeah,
well, it's trying to say something.
Yeah, well, we did have a few episodes that have more recently become topical with, like, AI, quote unquote, and then various virus episodes, which I thought this one was when I saw it was called Contagion, but it turns out it was not. But yes, so we're on Contagion season 2, episode 11, I believe, as listed on Netflix at the very least. The episode opens with Picard's narration. They're on their way to get to the USS Yamato, who's experiencing some kind of a horrifying failures. The captain's a good friend of Picard, and Picard's like, all right, we gotta get into the neutral zone. I don't know how much of the neutral zone was established up to this point, but the neutral zone, a really big deal, except when
neutral zone was established in TOS.
Oh, well, shit. Well, fuck. There you go. I'm not nearly as familiar with the original series.
Well, actually, the Federation and the Romulans went to war, and then like TOS takes place like about 100 years after that or something like that. So, because if Enterprise had gotten to 7 seasons, the last season would have been about that war. Anyways,
what a shame. I'm somewhat of an Enterprise defender. I do like Enterprise.
The first episode, or the first episode with Romulans in it, it's like they haven't seen the Romulans in 100 years because we keep out of them with the neutral zone, and they're like the Romulans they get like a super weapon and start blowing up ships along the border of the neutral zone.
Weirdly,
I think there was like an episode of
TNG for their first experience of the Romulans. It's very similar, actually.
Yeah, I want to say there was like an episode of Strange New Worlds that actually like touches there's an episode of Strange. I don't know if anyone's watching that one, but there's an episode of Strange New Worlds where they do a time travel thing with Pike, where he basically is reliving that episode. But when they see the Romulans for the first time, they look like Vulcans, and everyone just looks at Spock being like, the fuck, man.
I am not a New Trek fan, of course, but this podcast actually started out. We were going to watch through Picard. This was back when it was first airing with a surrogate, and it was so bad that it tanked Left Trek for about a year. That we just restarted and started doing Deep Space Nine. But I've heard good things about Stranger Worlds, especially from Nicotine. But I watched the first episode and I hated it so much that I have since then. I'm willing to go back and rewatch it sometime, but I hated that first episode. I hated it so much, and it just killed the whole thing for me. For Stranger World specifically, I mean, Discovery of Picard, that's a whole different thing.
It's one of those things with like the first episode of pretty much every Star Trek series, though. If that was the reflection that I was looking at for the entire, the entire series that was coming out, I wouldn't have watched any of it, right?
Well, that's fair, except for New Trek, because like the first couple episodes of Discovery were like, okay, all right, let's see where they go with this. Oh God, what are they doing?
Well, then actually, you might be looking at the opposite situation going on with Strange New Worlds, where they've gone back to form, where the first episode is not for you, but then the rest of it is. You know what I mean? So just saying. Okay.
That's a great point. All right, you've sold me. I'll go rewatch it after this.
Yeah, I am loyal. I will watch the bad things. I'm a defender of New Trek. I'm like a person who's like, you know what? Even season 2 of Picard, I fuck with. I'm good. But
scandalous.
I'll take it. The thing is, like, see, the thing is that there's difference. Like, did I like these shows? Yes. Are they good? Is a different question. It is Star Trek, and I want more of it.
Perfectly
so I will
fair.
watch it.
I will say I am thrilled that New Trek seems to have failed so bad that it's sunk Paramount Plus, and now they're not doing any more shows. But does that actually mean that we're gonna get more good shows in the future? Definitely not necessarily, except for Lower Decks, which is great. I love Lower Decks. Everyone loves Lower Decks. Who doesn't love Lower Decks? Lower Decks is great.
I think Terry taking over Picard has also been fairly good, and I think there's some good stuff that'll come out of that.
I've seen 7 episodes of the 13th season of Picard and actually enjoyed most of them, except when they started getting into the changeling stuff, and I'm like, but I haven't seen where they went with it though, because I haven't seen like the last 3 episodes of the season. But we
all right, let's get back to 1989.
Going back in time. Ooh. The Yamato, it's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. The Picard and the captain they're flirting a little bit over the I want to say intercom, but it's not intercom.
The view screen. Thank you very much.
So it's so like the Picard kind of joking around, and we find out 18 people died to the malfunctions that they're joking about, and Picard's like, ooh, inappropriate. Sorry. The other captain suspects a design flaw in the Galaxy class starship, and because the whole fucking ship is falling apart all at the same time. Now I record my notes via speech to text, so I don't actually remember the other guy's name. What's the other guy's name? Because I have Donald, Dawson. Do you know what the other captain's name is?
I didn't write it down.
Did not pay attention.
Rip. Rest
I
in
just
peace.
thought. Oh, my bad. I'll wait to say it for when you get there, which will be like a couple sentences from now. Go ahead.
So who I'm gonna
Donald Varley.
Donald. Oh my god, it was Donald. My goodness. All right, so
Captain Donald Varley of the Yamato, which is, if I recall correctly, named after a ship from the Japanese Navy in World War II, which is quite a choice.
I believe the Yamato was the Japanese flagship. I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, so Donald, captain of the Japanese ship, the Japanese defense force is the different force in the future from Starfleet, and he's the captain of that ship. So he's like, oh, you must be wondering why the hell we're in the neutral zone. It turns out the Iconians aren't a myth. What are the Iconians? Well, apparently, whatever they are, it would be a horrible idea to let the Romulans get to their home.
Yeah, I love this. Like, why are we violating international law that like could start a war? Well, I like, there's a really cool archaeology site I really want to see.
We've got to get to this homeworld. We've got to get to it. The screen starts like flickering like 1980s TV static, and then the shit starts getting real fucking quick because the Yamato fucking explodes. The engineering section explodes. The saucer section I have written down here as the sausage section is just drifting in space as the hull like burns away. It's horrifying. It's graphic.
Which led to my first like out loud like laugh at this episode. When Data looks up and is like, "No survivors, Captain." It's like, well, no shit, Data. The whole thing disintegrated before your eyes on the fucking the view screen.
I've hardly ever seen a more graphic ship explosion. Like this is like on par with like the burning of Carrick from Homeworld. Like
it was like for Data just to be like, "No survivors, Captain." It's just like nobody like paused like to be like, Data, really?
You can definitely tell that like they do the graphics after they film the show, because nobody who saw that graphic would have written the script like that, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's
true.
100%. I mean, Wesley is appropriately traumatized later, but yeah, definitely. They really went above and beyond on this one. But immediately,
I love that. They're very dismissive of Wesley's. Like, I just saw 1,000 people die, and I'm like 14 years old.
Horrifyingly burned away. Oh, it's awful.
In general, the crew gets over it very quickly. It's strange.
Yeah.
Well, you see, they had to.
Time, boy.
We're getting a little bit ahead of this, but it's just like I love the pacing between like how do you deal with this? With this just the thought of all this life, and he's like, and then Picard goes, "Well, you just do it.
Just
computer T." Really? That's
snake plants.
Snakebite bleach.
Immediately after the ship blows up, a Romulus ship comes into sensor raid, and stressful music plays, and then they do the exciting intro. There's no response to the hails from the Romulan vessel as both ships prepare to fight. Picard hails them personally with his serious voice, and Lady Romulan Captain answers. And immediately I'm like, oh my god, I recognize her. Where's she from? And I didn't even look it up, but I'm just gonna say that she also makes another appearance as perhaps the same character later on in the series when Troy is a Romulan on board the other spaceship.
Was she the I thought she was familiar too. Was she the Vulcan stand-in, like, doctor? Remember when there was like that Vulcan doctor to like
oh yeah, was she?
That like
yeah, the
that,
MRA
like,
guy. The MRA cyberneticist.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Sub Commander Taurus, right?
Well, yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I believe so. So Picard is like, explain your illegal presence in the neutral zone, and she's like, motherfucker, you explain your illegal presence in the neutral zone. Well, Worf is beginning his strong role of saying, like, oh my god, we should kill them, we should kill all of them, we should kill them right now, we need to kill us before they kill them, and someone else looks reasonable by going, no, it's a little early to kill all of these people, Worf.
I forgot about how, like, one-dimensional Worf starts out.
Right.
It's like makes me think of like the Lord of the Rings, like where in the books, just like all like every other sentence that like Legolas and Gimli is just like, I like trees. I want to go look at trees now. And like Gimli's like, I like mountains. I want to go look at rocks. And that's like half their lines. Worf is like, I want to kill shit.
I want to kill things. Riker's like, no, we shouldn't kill everything yet.
No,
don't worry.
I want to
kill people.
I want to kill things, or I want to get choked out by other Klingon women.
Worf really like earns like what's it called? Really earns it up to like the euthanasia episode, I think, in a few seasons. So
I can't wait for that one. I cannot wait for that one.
Oh no, that's right. I forgot about that.
A bunch of empty plastic barrels fall on him, and now he must kill himself. Yes.
They really need to invent some straps in the future. There's a brilliant joke from
Space OSHA.
Yeah. OSHA is like the one thing that they don't have a parallel for in the future. So,
or a judicial system.
Hey, that's not canon. He heals the Romulan ships, and he's like,
bam.
he's like, well, we will. He just hails real quick, and he's like, we'll leave when we determine what happened to the Yamato. Fuck you, goodbye. Geordi is like, holy shit, the engine literally just fucking blew up, and I guess like, oh, that's not supposed to be possible.
Thanks, Geordi.
Yeah, thanks, Geordi. That's not supposed to be possible, but I guess it is.
Thanks, Lieutenant Thanks, Lieutenant Obvious.
Both Data and Geordi just really fucking bringing it in with the obvious. The ship exploded. There were no survivors. Wow, thanks, both of you. Good job. Promotions all around.
So Geordi backs up the explanation that there's some kind of actual design flaw, and Riker's like, this is the most expensive thing ever built. It can't have any kind of design flaw. And when was the movie Titanic made? What year was that roundabout?
Thinking about any other piece of military tech that every time they try to develop it, like kills half the people who use it.
Yeah.
Wait. Hold on.
I F-35.
I just want to say that Picard did not bring up how expensive it was. He brought up how scientifically advanced the ship is, because I make note of any time that they bring up currency or like a commerce system or like markets within this thing, this show.
You give it just one more tally, and you're like,
they always try to say like, yeah, it's enlightened. There's no money, but then I'm like, I remember in like TOS they literally talk about getting paid. So I don't know.
Yeah, like all the time.
The 60s Enterprise has a church on it. Like, all right,
yeah, it's weird. I looked up.
They talk about God all the fucking time. Kirk is reading people the Constitution. Yeah. It's great.
So I looked up Sub Commander Taurus, right?
Mm-hmm,
so she's actually in 2 other TNG episodes, in season 4 and season 6.
Season 6, Face of the Enemy, right?
Yeah, Face of the Enemy, but she does not play the same Romulan. She plays a different Romulan.
Oh.
Wow. Imagine just being typecast as like
the Armin Shimmerman of Romulans. Okay.
Yeah. But
Also,
God,
Armin Shimmerman shows up as like multiple Ferengis, if I remember, throughout TNG.
Yeah, he was on the first episode. Was it the very? No, it's a very early. He was in the first appearance of the Ferengi. He was one of those people.
Oh yeah,
I didn't even know.
Apparently,
about that.
early on, the Ferengi were supposed to be like the recurring villains, like the Klingons were, but people found them too hilarious, so they just sort of like, all right, we'll go Romulans, I guess.
Wait, I didn't know about the hilariousness part of it, but I didn't know they were supposed to be the recurring villains. The other Armin Shimmerman appearance is Troy's mom, Luxana Troy's first appearance. He plays the chest that has like a face on it that opens up and a bunch of plastic jewels just fall onto the plastic transporter mat.
God, I love Star Trek.
And an amazing career.
Also,
in this amazing show.
Carolyn Seymour, who plays Taurus, is also just like a prolific voice actor. I had no idea. Working still till today on like Mass Effect, Gears of War, fucking all sorts of shit.
Who's she in Mass Effect?
Dr. Chakwas.
I shouldn't have asked. I don't know who that is. But hey, for any Mass Effect heads out there, there you go. Now you got a vision. She does have a great voice. She's very terse. Yeah. I love it. It's
very
cool.
good. Yeah.
So Picard, Geordi LaForge is like, the only real explanation is that there is some kind of fucking design flaw. And Picard is going through. I have here as Branson's personal log, and it becomes apparent he was able to find the Iconian Rosetta Stone. And then he's like, well, once we found this, it was actually pretty trivial to find the homeworld. This guy's like a great actor. I love this guy.
I also just love that you can like, I guess you can just look up people's personal diaries whenever you want.
Yeah.
And then also do like, and they're text searchable nonetheless.
I love that. I was thinking about that too, because like I thought it was just like a voice recording. It's like full on like video.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like you could just you have to like be cognizant of that whole thing, like when you're actually like recording like one of these logs or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is literally.
You get to one of them, and it's like Varley's like one of those early like YouTube vloggers, where he's just like, today's review: Iconian Rosetta Stone.
I mean that for at least the captain's log, that is
captain's vlog starting.
For the captain's vlog.
Captain's vlog.
Hell yeah, I love it.
It is actually. It's just like
we ended up in sector 8, this part of space. Here's my haul from the we're gonna do an unboxing haul from
Get
the
ready with
space
me
station.
as I
Yeah, we've got a very special loot box here today. This one's themed for the Iconians, and could I have found their homeworld by chance?
Whoa! They should definitely do that with Lower Decks. Is have one of the characters do like a personal vlog. It'd be very funny.
I you know what? I think they actually might have done that. I don't know. There's also
That's
like
basically what Boimler's doing.
I haven't seen.
Oh yeah.
The captain's log, that is supposed to be like reviewed at some point, like that's what Picard's doing when he has like the intro narration Zots.
But I thought it was his personal log is the thing.
I think it was his personal log. Well, regardless, you do see in many other points of the show that you can access other people's personal logs and like tag search them for content.
Hey, I didn't have a problem with it. I just thought it was weird that it's like video recording and not audio recording. Like it just seems like extra, you know what I mean?
It's very important in the future. It's very important to have video with everything. It's not just because that's becoming a wider and wider format.
Is it in 4K?
Have you ever like
way beyond 4K? It's lossless quality.
Have you ever like seen like nautical logs, like actual like captains like nautical logs?
No.
Yeah.
Like they're not interesting. Like it's like very like even if something's wrong, like it's not like, you know, like, oh, the whatever, it's like it talks about like air, like wind speed, how fast everything's going, and then it like might mention like very briefly like engine failure or like whatever the fuck, like they're not
left,
it's like very
no more logs after that.
Like it's like yeah, and then that's basically it. Yeah, like, oh, like something like, well, what happened with this? Oh, the ship then just like exploded or whatever the fuck. So when like they're doing the captain's log for like Star Trek, that's what I find like really weird about it, is it's like that's so much like having to set up a webcam to record it. Just seems very like why?
You just there's just cameras everywhere. There's a camera on everything. So don't worry.
Sick. So the Enterprise is also a reality TV show then.
Yes,
like it's
absolutely.
just being.
How do you
that's
think
why.
they fund
That's
all
why
this
the
stuff?
show. That's why the show is the way it is, right? Like it's we are viewing every camera on the Enterprise. Like,
Yeah, that kind of bears out in Lower Decks. They kind of established that the Star Trek shows are like the crews and stuff, that they are aware of it, and people seem to be fans of them. So
that we just had we did Measure of a Man not so long ago, and we had a very wonderful discussion where
you hated
people,
it.
I love. Oh,
No, you hated the discussion.
Oh, no,
yeah.
I didn't hate the discussion. I thought it was hilarious. But the takes were awful, but the discussion, oh, it was gold. Where there were some takes that like, oh my god, the Enterprise, I mean the Federation sucks. This is how their legal system works. And my hot take was, this is not how their legal system actually works. This is a television show.
All right, wait, hold on. Super Trekkie Tristan here. Now that we have Tristan here, Tristan, would you consider Measure of a Man to be canon?
That's not the question. That's not the question.
Canon is a sliding scale, but
yeah, boom.
But yeah, like, I feel like I mean it is a Star Trek show that is real. It doesn't mean that, like, you know, like, let's be fair, Starfleet seems to have a vibes-based legal system, because you can break as many laws as you want, as long as you like save the world, you're fine. And like sometimes I feel like in many ways those very important episodes where they do like the law stuff is like 99%. It's just that they really like, they're just nerds for debate, and so it's just them. They're like Measure of a Man. They're like, ooh, guys, we can have the AI talk. Is Data going to be a person? And that's why like they got so excited for it. I don't know. I think the answer is yes, it's canon, but also it's true that Star Trek's been written by hundreds of people, and they tend to try to keep these things vague enough so you can apply your like
boring coming to the same conclusion we did.
We did.
I wanted.
Y'all were like, oh, the Federation only does kangaroo courts. What is this? They're not fully establishing precedent. What's going on? Why is some fucking jag officer out in the middle of nowhere establishing the rights of all artificial beings? Like, no, motherfucker, it's not this. If you're writing future Star Trek content, you don't have to treat every single thing that happens in every single episode as perfectly canon. Like I mentioned this before. Like, you know, there's some people that are like, well, you know, in Star Trek history, the reason that the TOS is like this is because the Federation went through a regressive period and that's why they're like racist and sexist and love America and God and stuff. It's like no, it's because that's a television show written in the 1960s.
Oh, my favorite is how is a guy with the name of Jean-Luc Picard, a fucking British guy, and people have developed a fucking I love it because it's insane, but there's this whole like side canon or fan speculation that like in World War III France got destroyed, and that France was then repopulated by like British people trying to rekindle French culture.
Hell yeah, let's go.
I mean, is that why we get that like lovely early Picard thing where like Picard goes, oh yes, they with like the horizontal like red, white, and blue stripes, like
absolutely not. You know what this is? You know what that is? That's Stars Wars. You don't get your Stars Wars in my Stars Trek. Okay? You want Star Wars? Fucking sci-fi writers that have a slavish adherence to canon. That's how you get a Stars Wars. Okay, you don't want a Stars Wars. Look what happens. So,
the one thing is I want to say if the Elon Musk Jr. University or whatever the fuck doesn't get retconned out at some point, I feel like that's a failure.
Well, it doesn't need to be like little cheeky references like, oh, we went back to the past and we're looking at a junior high school and oh, look, it has Elon Musk's name on it. No, that's not canon. No one would give a fuck about Elon Musk in the Star Trek. God, I hate fucking Discovery. Sorry. Anyway, moving back to the show. So luckily, they have all of the Yamato logs, and oh my god, the Yamato came into contact with some kind of probe when they found the fucking Iconian Homeworld. They very clearly established some massive technological find to discover this ancient empire. I think very clearly influencing the Stellaris DLC with the same premise where you're where like people are randomly assigned like different precursor civilizations they can just find. Yeah, that's a fun one. Heavily based on this one, and this one's the Iconians. The Federation rolled the Iconians. The Yamato came into contact with some kind of probe right before all the systems started blowing up, and it should be like very apparent that these malfunctions are probably related to to that rather than your perfect ship suddenly just like breaking, like it's suffering from catastrophic engine knocking, like it's a forward focus or something.
Gotta say though, my favorite bit is that they have the Enterprise almost collapses due to constant basically this Iconian computer virus, and then they're like oh, the solution is you turn it off and on again.
I know. Amazing stuff.
Dear God. Oh man.
Yeah, luckily, they have a visual log of every single thing that happened, so they know exactly where the homeworld is. And Picard's like, "Oh, holy fuck, we need to get there. We need to get there right this fucking second." Oh my god!
I am so archaeology horny right now.
I'm archaeology pilled like crazy. Clearly, this is not the kind of thing that you can leave to the chance that like the Romulans knew where the Iconians were when they like saw the Yamato go there and then like pick up a few things. Like, no, this isn't something that you go get like the fleet for and then like come back. This is something like, no, I need to get there right fucking this second, right now, goddammit. Wesley, this is the Wesley scene where he's like, Picard, I'm kind of experiencing like trauma. I think every time I close my eyes, I see like a vision of thousands of people burning to death.
And 1,000 people just died in front of me. I feel like this should be bugging me.
I saw a bunch of bodies floating through space.
Every time I close my eyes, I just see stars twinkling in and out of existence, and they're not twinkling like stars. There's no atmosphere. They're twinkling because the corpses of thousands of people are just floating through space. Every time I close my eyes, I see just like the human beings like melted and exploded, and Picard's like, don't worry about it.
You'll get used to it.
They
computer Earl Grey hot.
Yeah, this is also where what they like. I mean, they've already kind of talked about it, but this is where they firmly established like what the Iconians are. They were conquerors of many worlds, like 200,000 years ago, I believe. They simply appeared on planets. They traveled without spaceships. Picard annoyingly says to Wesley that they're like, oh, well, they thought China was a myth until Marco Polo discovered it. Like, no, not true, not remotely fucking true.
I love how like when Tristan, I was really excited for like once I saw this episode and like knew that you were on here, I was like, this is like Star Trek Ancient Aliens. This is gonna be great for Tristan.
So Marco Polo go east just for fun? Like, I don't know.
Right.
You just want to see what out there. They had no idea. They had no
Silk
clue.
Road didn't exist for like 1,000 years or anything. It wasn't,
Yeah. The precursor thing is, I mean, I think I've talked about it on the podcast. It's probably not aliens at props.aliens.com. But
We'll get there.
But like, yeah, the idea. This is another case of Mr. Von Daniken's theories sort of becoming, hey, having a place where it is entertaining, and that is in science fiction, where he plagiarized some of his stories from. But it is cool. I'm cool with it. Like what's it called? I think that the Iconians are less interesting than the precursors. Like that. I feel like this is a less good version of the other episode they have in a few seasons, where a Romulan, a Cardassian, and a Federation officer walk into a bar and try to have an archaeology race to find out that all the humanoid species are all secretly related to each other.
That is a cool one. Like, yeah,
it is. It's one of the greatest
TNG
TNG episodes, and it's a strictly better version of this one.
True. That is one of just easily the best episodes of Next Generation. It's great. It really puts this episode into a different thing. And of course we are. Well, I mean, we'll get to that episode eventually. One thing that's funny about that is our biggest fan, my mom, I was like, oh, she was like, oh, do you have a guest on? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm bringing on this guy. This is the History Channel, and she looks you up and she starts watching the most recent one you have uploaded, which at this point is the Ancient Apocalypse one, I believe, and she's going through that and she's talking about that. And it's like where do these people get? Speaking of like the the people theorizing these ancient civilizations. I'm like, where do these people get this stuff? And then I'm like, oh, I know where they get this stuff, and I started showing her lore videos of the Conan universe.
Oh my god.
I thought you were gonna be like, the answer is way simpler, Eric. It's white supremacy. That's where they get it.
Well, see, I actually had a question about that. I guess this is the question actually for Tristan. Tristan, are you aware of the lore of the Conan universe, and how much do you think these Q adjacent cranks, the ancient alien people, have influence from that? Because I also noticed that they borrow a lot of terms, or maybe these are terms that pre-existed in crank white supremacist history. I'm not certain.
I don't know I don't know much about the Conan universe. I know it takes place on Earth in ancient times, but I don't know much more than that. I know that Eric von Daniken, the person who popularized the ancient astronaut theory, took a lot of his ideas from H.P. Lovecraft, who wrote a lot of stuff about ancient alien civilizations.
You don't say.
Yeah, and H.P. Lovecraft had some very interesting opinions about race.
Oh, really?
Breaking.
If you want any evidence, look up the name of his fucking cat.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna have to recommend. Do not read the book Funny Cat Names by H.P. Lovecraft. It's not one of his best works.
It's not funny. You will not laugh.
They're not actually funny cat names. So the Conan universe. I won't go through the whole fucking thing. This is one of those lore. This is one of those universes where it's oh yeah, if Tolkien didn't die, it had a chance to really flesh things out. That's the state of the Conan universe. But basically, in an age before known civilization, there was these several apocalypses that wiped out these other civilizations that existed, and the Hyperboreans are like a Nordic blonde and red-haired race that exists up in the north, and there's all these different kingdoms of humanity.
Wait, that's the old name for Ireland, just with hyper in front of it.
Wait, that's Hibernia, right? That's
enough.
Different.
Well,
Hyperborean,
right?
That's
and all these people, they talk about these ancient civilizations that existed right before recorded history, and it's so identical to the fucking Conan mythos that I'm wondering who's borrowing from who. Did the Conan writer, I forgot his name already, come up with this stuff? Did he get it from pseudo anthropologists that existed back in the day? They didn't invent the theory of plate tectonics yet, so he built his history of the past based upon that understanding. It's really interesting, but also it's like, oh my god, it's so identical to all of these like, you know, mud flood people or whatever the fuck else.
Yeah, if you are talking about like not ancient aliens, but more like the ancient apocalypse stuff,
yes,
that goes back a bit further. There's been like basically like that goes back to people trying to prove that Atlantis was real, and I think probably
Atlantis,
the biggest
a core race in the Conan mythology.
That makes sense. But like I think the biggest book on that is the work of a guy by the name of Ignatius Donnelly, which came out in the 19th century. So, and there was like a rash of weird pseudo-archaeology that kind of rose up in the late 19th, early 20th century that had to do with people not really knowing how to do archaeology yet in a systematic and scientific way. And also there was when they discovered the site of Troy, it got really, really popular, and a lot of people took an interest in archaeology, but they didn't know much. And it started developing like this theory about like trying to find the mythical progenitors of Europe, and that led to like the sort of Aryan myth. And then on top of that, in the 1930s, the Nazis tried to like rewrite human history so that like the origins of all great things came from like ancient German Teutons and stuff. So
yeah. Do you think that archaeologists long for the day of slaves and hammers and calipers again, like how they used to?
Sincerely hope not. Archaeologists they're professionals.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of archaeologists out there, Zots, and they're not all like white supremacist cranks. Only the vast majority of them. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. I'm sorry. It's a joke.
Most of them are like nerdy grad students, and they're all like, you know, they're all freaking SJWs like me. So
exactly, the field has advanced quite significantly over the decades. So and
we've come a long way from eating mummies. Anyway, so
we were talking about that last episode. I gotta eat mummy. I figured out the candy that I suspect mummy feels like texture wise. The packing peanuts. The packing peanut candy.
Horrifying.
That's what mummies taste like. They don't taste like that. They taste like all dusty, but the texture identical to the packing peanut.
Amazing.
Sorry.
So also, I just want to say Hyperborea is actually an old like Greek idea of the people who lived way to the north. That's that's the whole thing, which of course slots perfectly into like white supremacist supremacy things, right? Because it's these people who can live in the complete completely inhospitable area that is north of the Arctic Circle is essentially what the idea is. That the sun never, like, the sun sets and rises once a year there. That's like the whole idea. And it's just like, oh, so
just hearing about these
people
things
who didn't exist
through the grapevine, like oh, I hear the days are like really weird way up there. This is crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so coming back to the episode, Wesley's traumatized. He saw a 9/11 happen directly, like right in front of him.
A Galaxy class starship can have like a crew of 6,000, so he saw like 3 9/11s.
Yes.
3 9/11s all at the same time. Oh my god, it's 9/11 times 100. 19,100.
And Picard's like, just have a cup of coffee and shut the fuck up.
It seems very dismissive.
Yeah, he goes to the replicator and he goes, tea Earl Grey hot, which is apparently the first time he did that in this series.
Wow.
And I was suspicious. I know this wasn't true. I knew this wasn't true. I'm like, wait, is that like Earl Grey plants? Is that what? And no, I don't believe it is.
It's like a snake plant or something.
Yeah.
I do like though that this is very often in Star Trek, the first sign they use that like the systems are going bad is they make something funny come out of the replicator, and I like that is like a trope in Star Trek where like I think there was another time where they where the sign that everything's going wrong, I think it was on Voyager, where somebody orders a cup of coffee, probably Janeway, and the coffee materializes before the cup, and I'm like, something's gone wrong with the computers.
Yeah, they do that a lot. I forgot about that.
but I appreciate a plant coming out being the it's like I'm like if a replicator goes wrong, I'm like, oh, is it gonna make fucking sarin gas? Like it could do anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like an indexing error. That's the only
But now
thing
I want something
wrong.
like if I get to write an episode where the system goes on the fritz, I'm gonna have it so that they order like tomato soup and instead like a bunch of like those like little rubber bouncy balls happen. They just start going everywhere in the room. That would be
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh my god! It's everywhere.
That would be a good one. That's great.
A magician's scarf. Like they just like try to keep pulling it out of the replicator.
What's that Zoomer thing? Like Orbeez, like a bunch of Orbeez. Oh god!
Oh god!
And then someone comes in and check on the captain, and the room's like just full of Orbeez because all the water comes out afterwards. And
Picard's dead. He's drowned in Orbeez. Oh god, I got Orbeez in my Earl Grey tea. Now they're expanding. They're expanding like crazy.
Because keep in mind that like Picard is a hyper zoomer, right? Like he's born several hundred years after the zoomers.
Damn
that goes.
woke
Well, that actually.
My great grandfather was on TikTok as.
Yeah. I was gonna say that goes very well with like us, going back to like the captain's vlog, right? Because it's just like, it's like I can picture the thumbnail now, right? Like Picard, like extremely excited face, and then it's like replicated 10 million Orbeez, and just like really like bubble letters and shit. Like
Admiral Beast keeps making these terrible logs.
Yes, I'm a long descendant of the Beast clan.
Oh my god!
I only learned about Orbeez when I was getting very confused looking up like the Mosin Orbez because I play a lot of Tarkov. Like what the fuck is this? This is what I looked up.
I just want to say Wesley also does the another obvious so the T comes out of the replicator, right? And in line with like Geordi and Data in this episode, Wesley goes, "That's not right." And then Picard goes, "No, it surely is not," or something like that. Like it's like, no shit. Mm-hmm. It's a plant. It's a whole plant in a teacup. Wesley.
Does he take the?
Yeah, he takes it. He takes it out of the replicator. Wesley's like, "That's not," or like he's like, "That's not right." I would have loved it if he would have. If the line read was, "That's not tea."
So wait, is this before or after the episode where Wesley tries to get into Starfleet by like with that guy who vapes out of a mouth guard later on?
This is after.
I would have loved if Picard would be like, "So that's why you failed the test."
There needs to be more people just shitting on Wesley. I feel like I used to be when we started this, Tristan. I was like a Wesley kind of defender. Where I was just like, he's a kid, like this is cute, blah, 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 blah. And then like as the show got on, I'm like, fuck this child. I totally get. Like I just can't.
I say, like, what's it called? Shitting on Wesley is a time-honored Trekkie tradition. I will say, I don't think Will Wheaton deserves the shit he gets for like playing a role as a teenager, but whatever.
I do.
Yeah.
I do think he deserves it. He has a kind of,
yeah, Aaron, the last episode,
it wasn't Wesley Crusher that was a recurring character on the Big Bang Theory. It was Will Wheaton. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
He committed the ultimate sin.
He committed the
child
ultimate
actor
sin, shilling for New Trek.
I thought you were gonna say being a child actor in the 80s.
Yeah, I mean,
another unforgivable sin.
I mean, I'll shill for New Trek any day of the week. So
Cut that. Eric, cut that.
You hear that? You hear that, CBS?
Yo,
they don't exist anymore.
Yo.
They're gone.
What's it called? I would do it just to be like, what's it called? I know that some reviewers get the seasons early. I'd do it for that alone. Here's me. I'll say anything.
Don't give your labor for free. What kind of commie are you?
It's not for free. It's for early access to incredible science fiction television.
It's interning. It's different.
I've been watching Discover. Like I said, I thought Picard season 2 was solidly watchable. Like I was.
Zots, I know you don't have reference for it, but what Tristan just said is a shocking take. That's like a 9 out of 10 for hot take. That's a scolding take right there.
I
put that in perspective.
Can we make that the tagline for Left Trek?
Absolutely not.
Left Trek, you can hear it.
So they start experiencing problems, just like the Yamato on the Enterprise.
Oh no.
He's like, oh my fucking god, what if the probe was the cause of all of these problems? And then it's like, oh no, clearly, well, we're experiencing problems. We didn't even see a probe, so clearly this has nothing to do with the probe. This is some kind of
caught it
flaw.
while downloading all of the vlogs, so they could figure out what happened.
Oh no, we ran out of memory downloading all their vlogs. Shit.
Isn't there a scene in the captain's vlogs that we kind of miss where he's like holding like a 2 million year old artifact and he's like, this fucking thing?
Oh yeah.
He like throws it on the table. He's like this
is the most important artifact in history. He's like,
just lobs it. Just tosses
this is
it.
the most important archaeological find in all of history. I received it as a gift, and it just tosses it on the ground.
Yeah. It's like in Generations where Picard's like special archaeological gift, he just like chucks when
the
he
Curlin Nescar, he just tosses it on the ground and explodes. Oh god. So they reach the Iconian Homeworld. They're now the Enterprise is experiencing system failures, and it definitely has nothing to do with this ancient technology from an ancient civilization that conquered the galaxy. Nothing to do with it at all. They reach the Iconian Homeworld. Apparently it's easily visible this place was home to cities that suffered total bombardment 200,000 years ago, and there's an energy reading, and I'm just like, seems unusual that no one noticed this place up until now. It's not like it's hidden. It's just there. It's just like
I like
really
how
close to Romulan space too. Like, you know,
they also like
traffic.
beamed down to the building where all of the hyper sci-fi tech is. Like, yeah,
It's still there. It works.
Nobody decided to like Google this planet ever.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that like irritated me in this segment was when they were like, we're getting readings on the planet, sir, and like they pull it up on the screen and there's like a blinking light for like a second. There, did you see it? And it's like, okay, hold on, why did you know where it is? Like, why did it have? What's with the visual reference? Why is this? Do you do this? Is this like a normal like practice for the Enterprise bridge to just like stare at the planet? Like as you're okay, all right. Well, I guess
the standard practice. I mean, absolutely. There's so many things that your eyes can see, that your extremely advanced sensors that travel give you information faster than the speed of light. You're
right. I forgot about the episode where they fucking sent Geordi up to like a fucking window to make him look out with his special eyes.
Yeah, Geordi could get a real look at it.
I forgot about that.
Galaxy class ship has like an entire like floor dedicated to sensors. Geordi, look with your freaking hairband.
So there's just so many. Apparently, there's just so many fucking planets out there in the galaxy that it's just totally fair that no one noticed this one. And to be fair, that is a recurring theme. There's just so many planets. Now you think that regardless of the number of planets, there'd be like, you know, civilizations on each fucking one at this point when people are capable of easily traveling faster than the speed of light. And it only takes you 100 years to get from one end of the galaxy to the other. It seems like every single habitable planet should have like a giant active spacefaring civilization on it. But whatever, I guess not. There's just so many fucking planets out there. And the galaxy's young still, maybe, I guess.
I believe in the pilot at one point, Wesley says that even though, like, you know, we have warp drive and everything like that, we've still only really discovered about 10% of the known stars in the galaxy or something like that. So it's like
the very last episode we did, it was 19% of the known galaxy has been charted. Which seems like a pretty low amount with how much stuff has been going on. Well, it's like pretty low and pretty high at the same time because
didn't you watch TOS? There's like they dicked around a lot.
That's true.
True.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like, well,
yeah.
weird number because if you've already done 19% of the entire galaxy, it's not going to be a long time until you've done 100% of the galaxy, especially with
19% is still like millions of star systems.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, it's like if you said, even if they had been like, oh yes, we've only charted 0.01% of the galaxy, it's like, damn, that's a lot of the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
Like how much of the Elite Dangerous people done thus far? It's like 0.001% or something.
It's almost a full quadrant if you think about it.
True. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Absolutely true.
Which is interesting because like there's like TNG races that or species that like they don't they were obviously first contact happened between TOS and TNG, so it was just like, and they're still like alpha quadrant species, so like, and they even refer to like wars happening with them fairly recently. So does that mean that like wherever Cardassia is like, I don't know, it just seems like I guess like there's like an acceleration thing because their technology is getting better or whatever.
Yeah, true. It's unusual in that way, and in my mind I have the Stellaris Star Trek Total Conversion map of all these empires where I just think about them in opposition to one another, which I don't think is incredibly accurate. I mean, there's been so many attempts to like map out like Starfleet and the Romulan and Klingon Empire, and it's just bullshit. It's just all guesswork. I mean, not to mention that space is 3D, so you can't really easily map it out. But anyway, what the fuck ever. So the probe gets launched for the planet, and Picard is like, we gotta capture it. And Geordi, hilarious scene coming up. Geordi says, "Holy shit! Wait, no, don't capture it!" But the message clearly didn't go through. And Ferris Bueller music starts going.
Man, this sequence is amazing.
Oh no, I'm getting copyright strike. Never mind. He starts running to the turbo lift, played in reverse.
He flips over just like somebody's pushing a fruit cart through like one of the hallways, and he just stumbles over it. Pushes over like an old lady and like a woman pushing a baby stroller, just like trying to get up to like the deck. Which the way that he was running and where he was running to, I was like, wait, if he's having problems just going and getting in an elevator, because he runs up to an elevator door first. It's like, are there stairs? And
there's Jeffries tubes. They haven't really been established yet, though. I don't think.
But I was just like, my first thing, I was like, wait, he has to go upstairs. Wait, how is he? Wait, this doesn't make any sense. Like, where is he running? He just runs to like another elevator.
So he starts, so he starts going to the turbo lift, which doesn't open, and he gets it, and he endures a series of hilarious pratfalls. But he runs past the holodeck. He sees two like women sunbathing, and he goes like, "Hey there, Geordi LaForge, it's Geordi LaForge. I'm chief engineer." And they're both like, yes, we work for you. We're on board the Enterprise. He gets into the turbo lift, and it just starts throwing up left and right. He goes, oh, he's on the floor. Oh, he's on the right wall. Oh my god, he's on the fucking ceiling now. Oh my god, he fucking lands on the floor. Every bone in his body's broken.
His
visor
drops his
falls
glasses.
Off. He gets fucking flung out of the turbo lift when he gets onto the bridge without his visor, and he's like, oh my god, blow up the fucking probe right now. And Picard's like, blow up the probe. And Geordi immediately says, oh yeah, if I didn't get here, then we would have been fucking dead immediately. Hero Geordi, honestly, he fucking clutched that shit.
What I thought was strange, and maybe you guys can answer this, he was also just like, welcome to the bridge, and I'm like, is this the first time he's done that, or is it just like
the first time he's done that? He's the first time he's done that without the laugh track.
Okay,
or
like I thought it was like
the audience noise.
I mean, an engineer right away, right?
To the bridge after he gets literally flung out.
Okay, yeah. I thought for some reason it was like a bigger deal than that, but he was bridge crew in season 1, wasn't he? Like, he wasn't an engineer.
He was like a helm officer, and then he wasn't like an engineer at all. And then they just like retconned him to be the engineer, which is because before that their chief engineers were, there was like this like horizontal like hierarchy-less like union of chief engineers that existed. There's just a million chief engineers.
It's the engineering commune.
But then of course they Starfleet broke the union, and now they have bosses, and which are the new chief engineers. Geordi, of course, the scab that he is representing one of those people.
See, that's when the kangaroo court started, when they had their Stalinist phase. Yeah,
it was the creation of the AFL-CIO for Starfleet. They just it's just, you know, there we go. You got a union still. It's fine.
We're gonna get people mad at us. We can't talk about things. We can't talk about anything.
Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. This is apolitical. This is an apolitical
podcast. You think we can talk about politics?
Left Trek?
We're gonna get canceled.
Yeah, left Trek is an apolitical.
Ignore left. Ignore the left in our name. We're
Ignore the left. You heard it here first.
Don't flip it. No. Wait. So the probe downloads some kind of computer virus, and it's reprogramming their computer. Apparently, they didn't even notice what's happening. It just kind of works like an actual virus. They don't at any point say virus, I believe. They say, like, oh, this is a program that is rewriting our computer in some sort of seemingly, you know, malicious or a bad way. They downloaded the logs from the Yamato, and that's what spread the program. But apparently, it's not affecting them as much, and slowly, because it's isolated because of how it got into their system. Geordi's like, oh, the ship could literally explode at any moment. We better be quick. No one can use the Jeffries tube because it's just pancaking people like to the ceiling. So Dr. Pulaski has to send medical teams to the Jeffries tubes, which I think aren't established. I don't know when the first Jeffries tube.
They say like walkways or some shit like that.
Yeah,
like is like a thing, and like. And also another favorite thing of mine where it's just like doctor, come over here. I have a problem with this patient. And she's just like, just make a split.
That's where we get to right now. Well,
just like, make a split.
But before we move off from the subject, I really want to point out another very funny thing about this setup, which was the what would have been great for the slapstick comedy is that they had kept up, and as the Enterprise kept getting bad, every time you see somebody coming out of the turbo lift, they're getting thrown out like Geordi. That would have been great. Like every time they just like open the door and people come out, they're like, "What?"
Yeah,
just tucking and rolling.
That would have been amazing. I love that.
It's like have we done the episode where Geordi does the most hilarious like Indiana Jones rolling under the door as it's coming down, but he like gets like he's like ahead of it by like a full like 5 seconds.
It's completely unnecessary. I don't
maybe
know
that's just how he does it. Maybe everyone just
great.
thinks that Geordi's like dramatic. He just does that through doors.
Geordi's like spending most of his time rolling he's cartwheeling onto the bridge the majority of the time, so they don't even know that anything's wrong.
Took that one Vulcan self-defense class and just can't stop rolling everywhere. There's a deep cut. That's a deep cut.
Steven Seagal actually still lives in the future. He's just still alive, and he's doing the same thing he's doing.
Geordi's just the weep kid in high school who just like pretends to be a ninja all the time.
Geordi Naruto running through.
Yeah,
Geordi does give like kid who did Naruto run in high school energy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of episodes that are dedicated to him being like an incel, right?
Yeah, check out the Left Trek Patreon, folks, for our bonus episode we recorded with Kira Chats about we did a double feature of the creepy Geordi episodes. They're great. Can't wait to get to the first one's coming up in not too long. It's gonna be a lot.
I'm glad he has kids in the future because oh boy, does he have an awkward dating phase.
He has kids with her. He has kids with her in the future. Well, okay,
shit.
Ignoring Picard, he has kids with in the end of TNG, it says he has kids with her, and she's like the director of the Days of Ministry. And I'm like, oh my god, wait, so he got in there after what he did?
He's got game.
He married her, had sired 3 children.
Yeah, after doing that.
I just realized that this is. I just realized that like now that we frame it like Geordi's the nerd or whatever on the bridge, and this was set in the 80s. Geordi is the boy and his robot.
Oh yeah. They're totally going for that because him and Data are best friends. Yeah.
That's Geordi's the 8. Oh my god, I hate it.
Well, you know, we can't talk about racism right now because we cut back to Pulaski, famous racist character Pulaski. She's yelling at an Asian man. The lights are flickering all around.
This anti-Polish racism. But yeah, I do love that scene because they're like this Starfleet, like, you know, rough and tumble. Like they you know, Starfleet is like it puts in the place that they're the best of the best. They have redundancies upon redundancies, and apparently their medical staff never take a first aid class. So he's just like,
no idea what splints are.
The fuck is that?
We had in a previous episode,
without
like,
your bone laser, what do you do?
Yeah, it's remarkable that like Crusher knows what like roots do, and Picard's like, oh my god, how did you learn this stuff? It's like, oh, my grandma was a frontier doctor. It's like, wait, shouldn't they all know this stuff? I mean,
yeah, don't they have the fucking Red Cross in Star Trek?
Right now, what Crusher's doing, you know, when she's having this like dispute, when the actor's having this dispute behind the scene, and she's on in season 2, what she's doing is she's the fucking head of Starfleet Medical right now. I don't know
like,
that.
Don't they like? Yeah, it's just like in Starfleet training, like people like crash their shuttles when going to conferences all the time. Like they got to know how to do like a splint in a case of emergency. Like I don't know, you'd think that'd be standard procedure. Anyways,
well, they have bio beds frequently featured in QAnon conspiracy theories. The bio beds, but literally the bio beds. You know, from it's not actually ever specified in Next Generation what bio beds do, but presumably they just like heal you like in a video game. They just start restoring your hit points. But they have
Nurse Jenny's there, like, I'm gonna need your officers.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Exactly.
We were reporting to the Starbase, which is a deep underground military base. We're helping out some mole children. So the lights are flickering in sickbay. The biobeds aren't even working anymore. Everything's wrong. Another doctor's like, Dr. Pulaski, I don't know how to do medicine. And Dr. Pulaski's like, use a splint, you fucking idiot.
Honestly, Pulaski's great.
Yeah.
And there's a few times where she just pulls off, because it's obviously she's cribbing very hard off of like trying to do a McCoy type thing, and it's great.
She's very.
I love that she's just like, what are you, fucking idiot? Like,
yeah, when she's not throwing magnets on Data, like just whenever he passes in the hall, otherwise being racist, like otherwise,
yeah, she has to
writing her manifesto about artificial life. She's pretty cool.
Yeah, she has to make sure that Data, like, even though she's forced to be nice to him and recognize him as a sapient entity, she still has to make sure that he knows his place. And
you guys haven't done the Sherlock Holmes episode.
We did the first Sherlock one.
Yeah,
I think she comes around eventually to him.
Well,
she warms up,
really.
you know.
Barely. That's why I said like she keeps a pocket of fucking fridge bait that she just throws it at him, and even though she knows it's not gonna stick.
What I'm gonna say here is that the Renegade Cut episode on Dr. Pulaski and its consequences have been a disaster for the Trekkie civilization. No, I love you, Renegade Cut. Leon, please come on the show. But I disagree mostly with the premise of that episode that she gets better. She does not get better that much, at least not yet, because she really goes back and forth. Like, they have the Sherlock Holmes episode, but the entire time in the Sherlock Holmes episode she's being racist to Data, and then she's still being racist to Data like every other episode
she's just reasonable. She doesn't like the fact that Data's training data came from a bunch of artists on the internet without their permission, so she thinks that all of his intelligence is plagiarism.
There you go.
I can't wait to do like a whole episode on Pulaski. That's what I'll do. I'll just compile everyone's cracker ass takes about Pulaski, and I'll just refute all of them.
Well, and
we'll put it on the Patreon.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll schedule that. There is a one where in that first Sherlock episode, she accuses Data of like, oh, there's no creativity behind it. It's just rote, and it's like, well, oh, that's like the AI that we have right now. It's literally just rote. There's no intelligence behind it. But you know, we'll get to it.
I had this like thing in my head of doing like Measure of a Man, but they're trying to make the argument that like Data once saw me do something and now he can do it. That's plagiarism. And it's like, okay.
Oh God, how great, how much better would Measure of a Man have been if they fucking booted up the USB drive that Moriarty was on?
They didn't have USB drives back then.
And they brought, remember that's how they that's how they stored it.
They store things on crystal paperweights. You see, that's the future.
Whatever. Either way, they pull him out of the junk drawer that out of Picard's desk.
Yeah,
and
somewhere in
I
the
do
back
like the
of the
sequel. I do
warehouse.
like the sequel episode with him later. They're like, it's literally like he comes back and they're like, "Oh shit, we forgot about you. Sorry."
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, yeah. They don't store him in the USB yet. He's just in the fucking computer memory. They trap him in a USB later. Spoiler alert. Don't worry, you'll forget it.
Oh my bad.
That's like season 5 or 6 or so. That'll be a few years from now. Well, but Data. So extremely funny scene with Geordi in engineering, and he gets fucking electrocuted by the console. Data notices it, and he grabs him by his shoulder, throws him really hard, and
Oh, no go. Let me see if I can directly access the master program.
Data?
Yes?
What happened?
Any answer would be mere speculation. This is yet another example of how our actions have random results.
Thanks, Data. I noticed.
and Data like winces with how hard he threw him. Like, I'll
it's like,
clip
oops.
here. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
that was fucking great. That was fucking great.
Yeah.
He's just like, fuck, what's the line? Because like Geordi's like,
Geordi's
what
lying
happened?
there like on his stomach and goes like, I'm sorry. I guess this is another example of how our actions have consequences. And Geordi is like not moving a muscle, just laying flat on the ground. He's like, thanks, Data.
It's another case of like the safety hazard of the fact that for some reason all Starfleet ships, like their operations panels are all rigged to explode
They're so
whenever the ship
dangerous.
endures any stress.
There's nothing more dangerous than operating a computer screen on Star Trek. They just have C4 just built into all of them. They electrically shock you randomly. The big problem in that scene that the Data noticed, like, oh wait, it's electrocuting Data. It didn't immediately explode, like melting like the entire front half of his torso. That's weird. A C4 was supposed to go off when that happens. So Picard is determined to go down to Iconia himself, and Riker's like, no, that's not how we do things. And we've had this fight 100 times.
No, sir, that's incredibly stupid. Why would you do that?
Well, yeah, and they say they had this fight 100 times, and I'm just like, wait, have they? Picard doesn't really go places that often. Like he's done like a handful of times, but he's not
Picard
like,
just wanted to be the nerd. Okay,
well,
Because he's like an
I've
Iconian
literally
weeb,
been
he gets to go
studying
down to
this
the
shit
planet.
since I was a fucking junior grad. Okay, I was.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm going down there. God damn it! It's like the ancient aliens guy finding Atlantis. Like, he needs to see this. He needs to see Atlantis right fucking now.
Yeah.
I need to find the origins of the light race.
I
need to do it.
Every time Picard like breaks this rule to do this one thing, it's never because like there's some great reason. It's just like because I really want to. It sounds fun. Like when he does the fucking dune buggy away mission in Nemesis, he's like, I want to drive the dune buggy. Like,
I want to drive the car. I want to drive the space car. I want to drive the Mass Effect car, the Warthog from Halo. I see. I'm just gonna read this as it's written in my notes. Fabian down and drop their shield. Oh, they beam down and drop their shields. Got it. After some fucking Romulans show up and are apparently about to fire, and they can't raise their shields, and it's all dramatic music. It's going nuts, and the Romulans don't fire. The scene kind of peters out, and then Feats protects fools children and ships day Enterprise, Wrecker says.
did you have a stroke during this part?
I think my microphone on my phone's broken.
Something bad. Do I smell burning toast?
The shields go up and the
Eric
shields go down. Their
Eric
phasers
uses
go up.
speech to text for their notes.
We don't need any context for this. Don't worry. Their phasers go online. The phasers are going down. The Romulan torpedoes are flickering. And Troy's like, in another situation, this could be funny. And I'm like, no, Troy, it is funny.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. It's like because like there's like people like it's going on like the shield because. It was like the shields are on, the shields are off, the shields are on, the shields are off, and it's like what? Like,
Wesley, just put it on the screen or something. Jesus Christ.
There's like a light bulb that goes on and off. Or...
We cut back to the sub commander who's playing the Romulan and she's like, oh, you have penetrated deeper to the neutral zone, and Riker's like, well, fuck you, you've penetrated deeper into the neutral zone. And she's like, I've claimed this planet for the Romulan Empire. And Riker's like, it's the neutral zone, you can't claim anything. And quick aside, because this is the whole conversation that I want to do in a bonus episode. Let's be real, the Romulans could absolutely claim this place if they had the means and opportunity. If they just brought a fleet over here, they would claim this place. Fucking Federation be intergalactic law be damned. Well, I skipped over a line earlier where the Yamato captain, he's like, oh, if we let the Romulans get to this place, we might as well dock all our ships and defend ourselves with sticks. Like, that's how important it is to get to this homeworld, and that's why no one could wait for backup to get there. They just have to like slug it out at the planet itself.
The Romulans might end up on our planets without us knowing about it, like some sort of hidden technology that they have access to. There you go.
Oh god, the fact that the Federation can't make cloaks because of that you look forward to a bonus episode coming someday.
Do you guys get to the episode where you do what's that thing called?
No, we haven't done that one yet, but that's like I think that's like a season 7.
Yeah, it's like a season 7 where they do I'm trying to remember the Philadelphia experiment, but in Star Trek. We're good one.
100% gonna do one on that about like how bad the Federation is at treaties. Federation's so bad at treaties. But as Brian said, the Romulans are just very shrewd negotiators. You just have to concede to them just absolutely everything when you're trying to hammer these things out. So they're having a funny little back and forth. Another probe gets launched, and they're trying to destroy it, but they don't have any weapons. And Riker hails the sub-commander. He's like, "If you have any weapons, blow that fucking probe right now. It's gonna kill you." And then they do it. They blow up the probes. Dramatic music plays, and and they're like, oh, the shields are up, so we're not going to be able to beam anyone up, and they might get killed by the Romulans, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of, the drama is kind of confusing here. Cut back down to the surface, and they don't have any contact with the Enterprise. It's Picard, Data, and Worf. They're in some kind of control room. Like, it's just a full, like, functioning, doesn't look blown up at all, fucking control room. Worf's like, I would not like to become a permanent resident of this planet. And Picard agrees. There's no life forms on the planet due to the severity of the bombardment, apparently. Even though this room is totally fine, but whatever. Picard starts doing some archaeology stuff, and they look at the language of the Iconians. It's like, ooh, it's weirdly similar to some other language. It's theorized that, like, oh, these languages are this language, the Iconian, is a root language of these other languages. So maybe the Iconians did survive. Luckily, Data is potentially capable of doing like the reconstruction of the Iconian language himself. And they basically have just like the computer of the Enterprise down with them, which is pretty handy. Troy's real fucking jumpy. Everyone's all jumpy. Back on the Enterprise. Everyone needs something to do, and Riker's like, okay, let's get everyone some busy work. Let's prepare an evacuation, but don't worry, we're not actually going to evacuate. When this ship goes down, everyone goes down. God damn it. Again, back down on the surface, the Data is able to reconstruct an incredibly basic understanding of their language according to some kind of like root words, and he starts describing them, and the Picard's like, the translate Data, god damn it. Is like, oh, this looks like manual override, and he presses the button, and a beam of lightning shoots out and creates a gateway to a Northern California beach, and he's like, oh, I guess that wasn't manual override.
He presses a button and he opens up the fucking game Myst.
I said earlier at the top of the episode that these look like Windows 95 screensavers.
True. For the most part. Extremely true. So Data sticks his hand through the portal, and Picard's like, dude, that was fucking stupid. And Data's like, well, we needed to establish it was real or not. And like, Data, you probably should have waited for it to cycle like once, so your arm just gets chopped off.
Cycle, yeah.
So arm locked off by a fucking portal changing places.
So they raise that oh my god, maybe they use their technology to go to different places in the galaxy to outfox their enemies, by doing the thing that they're famous for, the going to different planets through their gateways. They outfox their enemies, though. Worf is like, oh, it's probably a military thing, and Data's like, no, this looks more like a transporter room. It's like, yeah, I guess it does, but I don't know how you'd have reference for that, but whatever. They realize that, oh yeah, so the Iconians use these. These are how they are able to show up on the planets and murder everyone, and it feels like their enemies probably should have just like straight up blown up the planet rather than like just bombard the surface, because there's a 100% like representation of the way that the Iconians like existed. It's right here. It exists right here. They missed it. It's really important. But no, they didn't just blow up the planet that like which literally like any spaceship can do. They were rushed. It was crunch time. They had to do their planetary bombardment on the cheap. Maybe the battle was so intense they weren't able to finish the job. But that's just a Star Wars style speculation. Oh my voice is like dying. I might have to tap out pretty soon. We're almost done though. I'll try to power through it. Okay. I think this place is going to self-destruct. They have to destroy it, and they realize, they can't let the Romulans get to this place. Picard's like, holy shit, we have to destroy everything. We have to destroy the tricorder recorded on this place, and it's like, and Data gets zapped, and I'm just like, you probably could have kept the tricorder, Picard. Come on, was this fucking amateur hour? But Data gets zapped. He's being rewritten by the Iconian program, just like the ship was, and Picard's like, Data, please, you have to tell me how do we blow this magnificent discovery up? How do we blow up this thing that I've been fantasizing about my entire life? We need to destroy it. We have to destroy it. We're the Federation. We destroy all ancient technology that we find. Data has to describe how to like do this thing, even though he's blind. Picard, they're trying to play the game, keep talking and nobody explodes. Picard describes in as much detail like what he's seeing. Oh, there's a triangular pad over here. Oh, there's a red button and a yellow button. Data starts listing off colors, and Picard's like, I'm assuming that's the code I need to implement, and he just doesn't, even though he doesn't get any confirmation.
Data gets electrocuted and just turns into like a game of Simon. Like that's just.
Data says, turn the button, or like look at the button.
Flop it.
Didn't say Data says.
Shit.
So it's literally just like 3 colors, and there seems to be a bunch of small buttons on the panel, so it's weird that like the large like sections of colors are what need to be pressed, but yeah, whatever. Worf carries Data back into the
Price
ship.
made the Iconians, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
I think my son has some toys that are like that.
Yeah, because he's like blue, yellow, blue, yellow, red. Which how does Picard
twist
like
it, turn it.
Also, yeah, the actor that plays Data always just really fucking good.
He is amazing. We've talked about him many times, but he just fucking nails it. And he's got like, he was a little like back and forth on the portrayal of Data as being like either like cheeky, but no, he's fucking got it now. He's stellar. Great actor. Great character actor.
Yeah,
sorry,
amazing.
I just drank some water. I'm burping now. The Iconian Gateway is cycling through different places, different Windows 95 backgrounds, and one of them is the Enterprise. One of them is the Romulan ship. They go down to the Enterprise on turbo lifts. Back on the Enterprise, they go on. They start using some turbo lifts, risking instant death as they get flattened into a pancake. But they need to rush Data down to engineering. Worf goes through the gateway and he's back on the bridge. He's carrying Data. They go back to the engineering, and Geordi's like, I don't know how to help him, and then like, oh no, he's dead. And we get a little flatline sound on the tricorder.
Yeah. I do love that the way it works in this happens a lot in Star Trek, not just with like this, but like they make it so that like they determined in the Star Trek canon that they worry about your brain waves, not your heartbeat, for like whether or not you're dead, because they're always putting the thingy on their forehead to zap them back to life.
Yeah, the heart, but not important at all anymore.
Yeah, but they still have like the flatline sound, and they still have like the little electric, like clear, like it's still a defibrillator, but it's like a brain defibrillator or whatever.
Yeah. What's the name for it? The
cortical stimulator.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah.
Don't even get started with me, man.
I want to say I didn't say this like on I didn't say this like on the recording yet, but I watched this episode myself at two times speed.
We can't admit this to the audience. I have to cut any reference to this.
No. You're leaving this in. You're leaving this in, you fucking coward. I watched this myself at 2 times speed, and so this scene where like Geordi is like points the thing at Data, he's like I don't know what I could do for him. He's dead. Or no, we always say he's gone. And he like cuts his eyes, and then like all of a sudden like Data wakes back up like right away.
Spoiler.
The timing on it was so good.
Well, Data's body is they start reading his will like down on the Enterprise. His body is going to be remanded to Maddox's garage. It's horrible. There's some kind of countdown back on the surface. Suddenly, Data revives himself, even though the tricorder made the flatline sound. You slowly so Data is slowly coming to his senses, and apparently is able to purge the program from his system. And he's talking like a weird. He's like stuttering. He's like, "I'm on Enterprise. Where am I? What's going on? Can I?"
He's
so
happy about it too.
Yeah, he's very happy. It's weird. Riker's like, he just like woke up from a nap. So Riker's like, we need to figure out how to do this with Enterprise, and the solution, of course, to getting rid of this virus is an erase and restore. It's like, you didn't try this. You didn't already try. I mean, okay, granted, computer technology, it's consumer computer technology.
These guys have like the equivalent of like multiple PhDs in like theoretical physics and stuff, and they didn't think, what if we turn it off and then turn it back on? Like, first thing you learn in IT school.
Hey, you gotta
they should have a scene where Geordi calls up like the Enterprise IT, and like the person's like, well, did you try turning it off and on again?
We need to refragment our drive quickly.
Try unplugging the Enterprise for 30 seconds so that it cycles, and then plug it back in, and then see if it happens. Show me the blinking lights on the computer core to see if like
No. They got rid of IT in the same way they got rid of lawyers. It's like the same thing. They figured they were just
nobody knows how a
computer
annoying. Works anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, there's actually like an episode about that where
or jurisprudence.
There's people that are. There's people that are like so advanced, they like, oh, we forgot how our computers work, and apparently that just happened to everyone. That's happened to
and that's why they stole children. It was great. But that's why they kidnapped all the children.
On the Federation. They're just like slightly more tied to how the technology works.
They're all just like iPad children hundreds of years later, right?
Exactly.
If Wesley wasn't too busy sitting in his quarters, rocking back and forth, like trying to like manage what he had just seen, he probably could have said that. He probably
Every time I close my eyes, I see them burning, bodies burning.
Just replicating Prozac, like
So they have a plan of action.
The last licks. As the last licks of flame burn on their bodies from the oxygen field created when the
Yamato,
exploded, as their rapidly freezing bodies still burn, as their eyes explode out of their skulls and their tongues turn blue as they expand in their mouths. The ice crystals forming on half their body while the other still burns. Can you
have a plan? No,
can you have
Eric? Thoughts I'm gonna die. They have a plan of action, and they leave immediately, and Data's just sitting there rebooting, and he goes like, oh, may I help? It's a very cute scene. Picard's back down on the surface, and they repair the ship, and the thing's about to blow up down on the surface. It's spinning. It's the thing that's in the center starts spinning really rapidly and blowing up, and Picard's like, well, fuck, anywhere's better than here. And he jumps onto the Romulan bridge, and they were about to beam him up because the Enterprise is fixed now, but like, oh no, he's gone. The captain's like, well, fuck you, Picard, at least you're gonna die with us. Our ship is self-destructing right now. And he gets beamed away, and he's like, not today, motherfucker. But unfortunately they inform the Romulans of the cure, and it seems like a real missed opportunity because they really probably should have just let the Romulans die and either like salvage any of what they could get a hold of down on the surface, because clearly the Romulans are gonna try to do that, or just for fuck's sake keep the knowledge of this place and take it with you. But like, oh, for the love of God, it's the fucking ancient aliens, you really need this information. I mean, if they just kept this place alive and let the Romulans die, the Federation would have won the galaxy forever and peace would have reigned for a million years. But oh well, I guess Picard needs to blow up some ancient relics, which is his favorite pastime.
Plus it would have been fine, just because we learn later that when a Romulan warbirds core goes critical, it get stuck in a time loop or something because if I remember correctly, they don't have a warp core. Romulan warbirds are powered by like a pocket black hole or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yeah. They have a micro singularity of some sort. It's cool. It's cool as heck.
It's the whole episode where they do like a time loop because the core blew up or something, right?
Yeah, it's the same premise as Edge of Tomorrow. Like anytime anytime a Romulan ship is about to blow up, it's like we're gonna stop time and then do some, I don't know, freaky shit. And, oh no, there's aliens. They're infested our black hole. now our ship is fucking up time. It's great. You love the Romulans. You love to see them. That's too bad what J.J. Abrams did to them. I'll die about that.
I do like Picard's like popping in and out like instant transmission. It's just like, kill him. No, I don't think so. Bye. Just in out.
Yeah, he pops onto the Romulan bridge and they're like, "Oh, kill this motherfucker immediately." It's like, no, wait, we're all gonna die, so I need to give my evil speech that we practice for.
Every Romulan has prepared.
Yeah, any military person.
Honestly, that's actually on brand for the Romulans.
Truly,
kind of dramatic.
They are very dramatic.
And that's the end.
But then Picard does that GIF thing where he throws up the peace sign and fades out of existence.
Nah.
But yeah, so that's the episode. So let's quickly go down it. And I guess in left track fashion, let's give our rating system and then talk about what we thought. Brian, please rate this episode out of shit, I should have thought of something before this. Brian, please rate this episode out of 200,000 years of history destroyed by Picard.
I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna give this one 150,000 years of history destroyed by Picard. Because it was passable. It was fun. There were fun moments. It got kind of boring sometimes, but there was a lot of really stupid shit that I liked laughing at. So and that's just really a treat for me.
True. Azats, please rate this episode out of 6,000 souls burning in space.
From now on, anytime you ask me to rate anything, I'm gonna make sure that it's a higher percentage than Measure of a Man. So I'm gonna say that.
I'm gonna say you rated it like a 6 out of, no, I think Nicotine rated it like a 6 out of 25. I'm like, it's Measure of a Man.
I'm gonna rate this as 5,000 spinning bodies bouncing off the fucking cameras of the Star Trek Enterprise to haunt Wesley's dreams. Out of whatever 6,000 or whatever it was. Because this was entertaining for me. Mind you, once again, listeners to Left Trek out there, please, if you watch this episode, 2 times speed it. I cannot stress enough how much better the jokes hit better.
Absolutely,
the slapstick.
Do that. The fact that Zaz has done this has destroyed the premise of this podcast.
Also, just put on Benny Hill music over it.
Yeah, when Geordi's flipping around the fucking elevator, it's sped up so much faster. So much better.
I prefer the Ferris Bueller music for it, but of course we cannot play this because then we'll get what's his name? What's the fuck's his name? What's the guy who's Ferris Bueller?
John Google.
You're talking about Matthew Broderick?
No, the actor that played Ferris Bueller.
Yeah,
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
What? That's his
Matthew
name?
Broderick. That's his name.
Why do I think that's not his name?
I don't know.
Ferris Bueller actor.
Right now,
Sounds like a
really?
you problem.
It is Matthew Broderick.
You're
What the
done.
fuck? Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh no! I know what I'm doing. I'm mixing Ferris Bueller up with the Fonz. That's
Henry Winkler?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Oh my god. Okay.
That's, I don't know how those wires got crossed because that's real different. But
you really are dying.
Off,
are you sure you're not having a stroke?
I am not at all. I received a lot of electrical shocks today. Literally, I've been stabbed with needles all over my body. So I got an EMG today, audience. So I experienced the same thing that the Enterprise experienced when getting socked with some probes. There we go. Tristan, please rate this out of four innocent probes destroyed by the meddling of the hubris of man.
I'm going to give this 2.5 innocent destroyed probes due to the hubris of man, because this episode, while it is one of the peak of that gives me the vibes of 2 p.m. on a Sunday type TNG episodes, the one that you kind of fall asleep during. But I will say that given that it's just so significant for Star Trek, it shows up in Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and I even think in an episode of Discovery, if I remember correctly, that this is it's a very important episode if you care about Star Trek lore, but also it is TNG at its TNG can be weird in very funny ways, and this is definitely up there with Picard making a smiley face and exploding warp core type stuff.
TNG at its most normal.
It's TNG having a normal one, yeah.
Yeah. All right, someone give me one. Who's got one?
Wait, I got one.
All right.
Out of what would you rate this episode out of 25 spasming Enterprise bodies in the Doctor's Bay? Because nobody knows what to do.
That was
score of 6,000 replicator Orbeez.
Yeah, there we go.
6,000. That's a pretty low number. But out of 25, I've got to go pretty high and rate this a solid. You know what? A 20, a solid 20 out of 25. I actually like this one. I don't know why I like this one exactly. Maybe it's the humor sprinkled in there. I remember liking this episode too. Maybe it's just the kind of interesting concept of these precursor alien. But I liked it. I think it was actually good. I would say that don't skip this one on your TNG. Those people that are watching through Star Trek in order with us on Left Trek here. Watch this one. It's good. I like it.
The precursor episode later, I think, is a strictly better upgrade of the idea of this episode.
There are two strictly better versions of this episode. One of the same basic ref concept is better done in an episode called the Chase. One of the best episodes of, I guess, just Star Trek of all time. It's amazing, and I highly recommend that one. It's so good. That's one of those we commonly recommend. People ask us how do we get people into TNG, and we commonly say look up a list of the top 10 TNG episodes and watch those. That's probably the best one. Do not do what we've done with Zotz here and show
Please
them
don't
and show yourself
screaming through for early seasons of TNG.
I feel like this is I'm living the plot of MS3TK, where it's I'm in the space station alone, and Brian and Eric are just sending up episodes of Next Generation that I'm forced to watch.
I gotta see your Naked Now episode. Then I gotta see how that one went down.
We haven't done that one.
That was the one where everybody got horny.
Wait. Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed that up with
data
the
fuck.
Q.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one. I love that episode.
Which is not actually the name of the episode. That's a name of one of the TNG edits.
Is it?
Yeah.
I love that episode.
Yeah, like no, we have seen that one. Yeah,
everyone,
we did that one with Nicotine or Kira. Did we do that with someone?
I don't know. It's like the third episode of TNG.
Yeah, I just think
that would be
strong
Left Trek
start.
episode 2. Then, folks, go check it out. That might be the same one we did Code of Honor on. Actually,
that's the episode before Code of Honor. So,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, we did.
High highs and low lows.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah,
we plowed
Left
through
Trek episode 2. High highs and low lows streaming now.
We plowed through season 1 by watching 2 episodes at a time. So now we're doing 1 episode at a time, which I think is better. It allows us to kind of like just enjoy it more, you know,
and hypothetically reduces our recording time, even though that's clearly not something that we've mastered thus far.
But we've been having a lot of fun with Tristan. This has been a good episode.
No, 100%.
I just don't want to waste people's time. I don't want to waste our lovely guest time.
I'm a prolific riffer. I apologize.
That's great. No, we love it. It's great. I mean, I'm saying I introduced this very negatively. We love Jesse. Jesse's great. Jesse will be on again soon. But we had Jesse on and we talked for like 3-4 hours. But
there we go.
Thoughtslime. We had Thoughtslime on for quite a long time as well.
Yeah.
No, there we go.
We stopped doing the 2 at a time episodes. We're like, all right, we're getting to more interesting Star Trek now. I guess we can just do 1 at a time, especially now.
Can we do
a weekly schedule?
Can we do a Star Trek quiz show, like a TNG quiz show with Tristan, between Tristan and Jesse?
I would love to.
I would just like want to, because the same thing, like just rattling off like just snippets of history, lore, behind the scenes type shit.
I think we could bring on just all the guests that we've had thus far, and then do that. That might be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think
that's a lot of wrangling.
Nicotine would be on that level for sure.
Oh,
too,
Nicotine's always down. You can always Nicotines are our most loyal.
We'll have to work that out. Hey, so viewers, if you want to see that happen, you let us know in the comments if you think that's an awesome idea.
Yes.
If you've made it this far, loyal listeners, help our algorithm. Watch the video all the way through.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, I know you had it on 2 times speed, but I really appreciate you listening to our podcast.
All you Left Trek fans out there, thank you so much for liking and subscribing and commenting. That last episode, we had like an error in it. It got corrupted. We had to re-upload it at a later time. It did super well, for Left Trek. It did super well. So thank you so much. Please continue to comment. We didn't realize exactly how important comments and likes and subscribes are, but oh my God, please, yes, subscribe.
Now we know. Now I know why. Which is like funny because like I did have a YouTube channel at some point, and I never was like subscribed. Blah, blah, blah. Also, we did get our first question. Hold on, let's see.
Shit, we did. Oh fuck! I wasn't prepared for this. Oh yeah, we did. I totally forgot. Oh yes, no, it was about mummies, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah. Hold on.
Oh my God.
Our first question. Now we can finally do this. Okay, wait, no, we got 2 questions. Okay, in the decades since TNG's broadcast, I've come across a few reasons to hate on Will Wheaton, but none of them are any good. Why the hate?
Because he's a nerd. Next question.
Star Trek fans bully nerds.
Yeah.
Nerds bully nerds.
He's a nerd and we bully nerds. The question I was thinking of, is it ethical to eat mummy meat if it's from a replicator? I'm just going to basically read what I wrote verbatim. This is a very good question, and the answer is, of course, yes. It is always ethical to eat mummy meat, even when it is acquired by the use of the Patreon of a leftist Star Trek podcast. Perhaps that is the only way that it's ethical to consume mummy meat, except for the use of the replicator. And I said we'd expound on that, but no, I think that's it. I think that we've justified that by first
pretty
principles.
full explanation right there. Yeah, absolutely.
No, I would say that I would say it's ethical to eat anything out of a replicator because it's like
it's vegan.
Yeah, it's fake.
Yeah, it's true.
Like it's not like the real thing.
Tristan,
And if it can create 400-year-old cocoa beans or whatever the fuck, then like sure, yeah. I would say though that if you're like eager to eat mummy flesh, like you might want to step back and kind of think why.
Yeah,
Eric?
maybe I'm gonna counter
where the mummies are like teriyaki flavored or something.
Yeah, there you go.
I did not want to reference that Futurama joke, but that is a Futurama joke that has already been covered.
Mm-hmm. But once again, accurate. Mummy, once again, Eric,
style.
The whole reason why mummies were being eaten by fucking aristocrats in fucking England was because, they thought it would cure things. They thought, it was the...
Am I saying that mummy meat is going to cure my restless leg syndrome that tortures me every single day of my life, that prevents me from living like a normal human being? I don't think that. Am I going to consume mummy meat? Well, that depends on my next question. Hey, Tristan, you're a history guy. You got any mummy hookups, maybe? Actually, no, we shouldn't ask this on the episode. Well, that's Left Trek, folks. Don't worry, we'll talk business a little bit later. Tristan, it was lovely to have you. Tristan, where can people find you if they're interested in seeing your lovely content?
Well, there's two places you can go. You can go to stepbackhistory.com to find my YouTube channel that's about why the past is important for understanding the issues of today. But if you liked this, you're probably going to be more into the podcast that I co-host with Scott from NerdSync, which is called It's Probably Not Aliens, where we debunk like pseudo-history, pseudo-archaeology, and ancient astronaut theories where we're sort of roughly going through the show Ancient Aliens. Sentence by sentence, honestly. So,
and thank you for that. Honestly, I gotta tell you a story once we're finally finished the episode. Okay. But yeah.
Sure. Well, that's Left Trek, folks. Tristan, it was lovely having you. Thank you so much. If audience out there, please comment. Just comment for engagement. Comment your questions, and maybe we'll remember to read them next time as well. We love you so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Da, 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 da.